Hey everyone, those who know me know I normally don't post pics, let alone video. So, you know, I want to talk about the current situations going on in the city of Chicago because my heart is heavy about this. And so, for starters, I have 10 to 13 minutes to talk about 24 to 48 hours of information. I want to talk about, again, our PD and our community, our protesters, our teachers, and a Ramen manual conversation at the end. So, when I look at the police department, I look at cadets who want to be world class police officers. I look into the community. I see people who just want to live the American dream and take care of their families. They lost their footing somehow. And I look back into the PD and say, why? I see an understaffed agency. Look back in the community. I see 30% underemployed. I see subpar supervision. I see family of dysfunction, despair. I see feeling of exhaustion with the PD. I see feeling of no hope by our community. I see rogue cops. I see unlawful citizens. I see a war on drugs and crime. I see a community plagued by drugs and alcohol leading to crime. I see a blue wall of silence. I see a code of silence within the community. I see just survival mode with the PD. And I see just hanging, trying to survive within our community. When you combine all of this stuff, it looks like a million 911 calls, erosion of trust and a high level of distress. And when the two worlds meet, it's normally combustible and not a good outcome. I see 100,000 crimes a year, 10,000 rounds of ammunition fired into a community due to gang violence, assassination of a baby, 2,000 homicides over a 4 year span, unlawful killing of men by our own police department. And I keep questioning why. Well, that's the answer that's going to come up. What I believe may be the problem. Not sure. But to our police department and to their actions, I ask you to do this. You know, lead, protect, and serve. 99% of you guys, men and women in blue, are doing a fantastic job. It's the roll cop. Let's call this roll cop red line. Right? Red line is one that we all have in our family. When you call them, they're going to show up and ask questions later. But you can rely on them. So when you want to call, red line is going to show up. You might question some of the others that may take their time, or arrive late. We all have that family member that does the same thing, but red line is going to show up. It's going to have your back. Red line can go from 0 to 99 quick, but it's when red line go to 100 when people start to get hurt and you start seeing sentences and unlawful killings. Hold one another accountable. I know grandma always said, that's just red line. Give them a break. But it becomes a problem when red line causes fractures within the family. And that's what's occurring now. So when you see a red line, you know who red line is in your department. Hold them accountable. Get red line some help if you need help. He or she needs help. I bring this up. I tell you guys, see something, say something. No more toe tags. Say no more toe tags because I lost my father at the age of 18 to senseless violence. And for all homicides, they're sent to the morgue. And at the morgue, there's a toe tag. You never forget the feeling of that toe tag that identifies your loved one. It hurts and stings to this day. To our community. I understand that despair. I remember the feeling. But what you're going through is like the twin of the Great Depression. High unemployment, despair, hopelessness. Men leaving the family searching for jobs. Our men are dealing drugs, joining gangs, turn to violence and being locked up or killed. These are happening in all communities that are underemployed at this rate, in a sense of hopelessness and despair. By the grace of God, I was just stubborn to feel that I should be successful. And I sought mentors, during these times when I was a kid, living in this environment. And one of them told me, hey, if you were a millionaire, what would you do for free? That's your passion. That's your it factor, despite what's going on around you. And I followed that. And during this journey, I heard a lot of no's. I'm doing everything right, but I'm still hearing a lot of no's. But then I started having some yeses, and those yeses turned into successes. The journey is a struggle, but you can do it. Hold one another accountable, root for one another, lean forward, stay positive. But look around your environment. Look at the conditions. They're similar to the Great Depression. Vacant buildings, abandoned lots. It's like the Dust Bowl. We've been here before, but we just didn't recognize it. Trump protesters. What you're doing is legal. The nation is watching. We all are watching. You're holding us all accountable. Parents, leaders, your friends and family. You're tired of the despair. You're tired of this environment, underemployed, trying to figure out the next meal. We understand. The world needs to understand. There were promises made to you guys. You guys were even encouraged to go into the community and talk to the kids about gun violence, and you did it. To no avail. The first 4 years, you didn't see results. So that now you're walking around with Ron Felder's t-shirts on. He probably doesn't understand. But what we do see is all races, ages, and genders with you guys protesting in harmony. Protesting is legal. Rioting is illegal. But we don't see anybody rioting and being arrested. So keep plugging away, keep holding us all accountable. Hey, the change is going to come. The nation is watching you guys. We see the Ron. We saw what Ron promised to our teachers. I woke up and I heard teachers are pending possible strike over contract negotiations. I said, man, this would have been powerful. But I heard teachers are pending strike because they're tired of their students being killed on the way to school or from school. That's some 10 kids killed this year. I remember my third grade teacher, Miss Foy, fourth grade teacher, Miss Martin, fifth grade teacher, Miss England. Boy, they played a huge role in my life. I was a handful, but they never let up. Teachers, you guys can make a difference. Just imagine years from now, you have other students and you say, hey, I'm protesting on you guys' behalf. And here's the pictures. Wanted you guys to have diversity and experience diversity, resources, and a possibility for a strong career. Those protesters who were out there were your students at one point. The police officers out there were your students at one point. How powerful would that be? What they're doing is right. It's legal. It won't change for the whole entire community, which includes you, which includes the police department. I understand we all have to make a living. What I would suggest, I think the GDP in the city is some $600 billion. I'll put all you guys in a bucket. You guys, the teachers, and the police officers. Hey, if dropout rate is low, graduation rate is high, crime is at or below national crime rate average, get 1% of the GDP. But that's for another conversation. Furthermore, back with the PD, there's a high-level sense of angriness. I would recommend an NFL PED drug testing policy. But again, another conversation. I think that might assist with some of the anger and the frustration that we're seeing. Tehran, you wanted this job. You got this job. You know the above intimately. What happened? My CEO challenged me and said, what's your personal brand? I explained I wanted to be the Phil Jackson of my organization. Phil mastered mastered the offense. And he identified people with winning spirits and turned teams into champions 11 times. You have a whole community, 2.5, 2.6 million people with a winning spirit. You were outside coming in that resembled mastering the system, and you promised diversity, jobs, resources, reestablishing life and liberty to everyone and to those communities that were challenged. You even came up with one strategy for students who had a B average that would go to the junior college for free. It was specific, it was measurable. Is it attainable? Realistic? No. Got 10,000 rounds of ammunition coming into a community in a 4-year span. What student can stay focused when they're trying to survive? This is what's coming into question. This is why you see Ron Felder's t-shirts and protesters. You know, crisis and conflict. You said, a leader should display leadership, judgment, and values. The Quan McDonald incident comes up. 17-year-old shot 16 times by one of our police officers. Then you say you didn't see the video. What leader would opt not to see a video to see what's happening to one of their very own? Millions of dollars are approved in 13 seconds when you know you have an understaffed PD, underemployed community. Now people are reporting you covered this up because of your reelection. What happened? Why? You're the CEO. You're the top cop. You're the number one parent in the city. You asked for this job. You got the job. Had you built equity, it wouldn't be a possibility of you hiding something. Now I question your judgment. Can you actually keep the city safe? Can you actually manage the city? Can you actually put the team together? Would you actually listen to your team as you are ultimately the top cop? You have 2.5 million people, 2.6, 4 million jobs in the city of Chicago, 50 million tourists a year. Or are we safe? Are they safe? I can't answer that. You can. But I have one question. When did deviation from humanity become a norm? And definitely for an elected official. So for all the other elected officials around the world watching what's going on in the city, deviation from humanity is not normal. And it shouldn't be acceptable. Let you guys vote. Should elected officials remain in office once they display these actions? See something, say something. No more toe tags. Have a great day.